Call the meeting to order. Everybody stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, take the roll.
O'Connor?
Here.
Morissette?
Here.
Alms? Here. DeZiel?
Here.
Weber?
Here.
Hall.
The first thing that we have on the agenda is public hearing on rezoning application by the Lois Cornwall Trust to rezone St. Croix County tax parcel 236-1293-02-025 from R1 one family residential to RM1 multiple family, and to amend the City of Hudson comprehensive plan use designation from single and two family residential to medium family residential. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this issue? Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this issue? Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this issue?
Move to close.
Second.
We have a motion second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Public hearing is closed. Discussion of possible action on a request by Alderperson Hall to reconsider the motion approved at the June 4th, 2018 council meeting regarding the candidates to be considered for appointment as 5th District Alderperson.
Okay, I would like to add Sarah Atkins-Hoggett back into the
So
discussion.
the motion right now is for reconsideration.
So
So you just make the
I
motion
will
to
make the
reconsider.
motion to reconsider.
Okay. Is there a second?
I would second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to bring up something. And I'm wondering, can I ask Sarah something? Is that within?
This is just the motion
This is
to
just the motion?
reconsider.
Okay.
So I think that's up to the council.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion is approved.
So now I
Discussion.
make the motion?
Right. So discussion possible action on candidates to be considered for appointment as 5th District Alderperson.
Okay, I make the motion to add Sarah Atkins-Hoggett back into the group of candidates.
Can't hear. Can't hear.
I make the motion to add Sarah Atkins-Hoggett back into the group of candidates to be considered.
Have a motion?
I
Is
would
there-
second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion.
Now, can I ask something of
Yes.
Sarah? Sarah, if you could come up, I have a question for you.
Are you going to ask all the candidates?
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
So I've been in the position of potentially being appointed. And one question we all had to answer was if we were going to run in the following election cycle. We have a responsibility to appoint someone who is going to run again. We have a lot of big issues coming up forth. We need to appoint somebody, in my opinion, that will run again and be here for the long term. And so when asked this question in the last meeting, you kind of answered that you weren't sure yet. And I'm wondering, in the last 2 weeks, have you changed your mind in this regard?
I'm super happy to answer this question again. In talking with folks in the last couple of weeks, a couple of people, actually more than a couple, probably a few, a small handful, mentioned my response to this question, and so it became really clear to me that my answer was misunderstood. And so I'm going to answer again in the same, using the same answer, but rephrase it in a way that maybe is more clear. So I absolutely will run again. I wanted to say that I would first really talk to the residents of the district and make sure that they felt like I was doing a good job representing them, that my contributions were valuable, and they wanted me to continue to serve. It's my understanding that happens when you collect signatures. So, I mean, in those discussions, provided the people of the district feel as though I'm qualified and they want me to continue and to run again, I would absolutely run in the spring election.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. May, I have a statement I'd like to read, if that's okay.
Sure.
I left our last council meeting a little confused by our inability to reach a decision. And I have to admit publicly that I made a mistake in vowing to narrow the candidate field in for District 5 vacancy to just 2 candidates. So I'd like to go on record as apologizing to both Sarah Atkins-Hoggett as well as the people of District 5 for that vote at the end of the meeting. Sometimes it helps just to take a little time and reflect to gather new information. So I basically wanted to kind of share where I've been in the last 2 weeks. First of all, I met Alderperson John Hoggett at Dunn Brothers Coffee downtown shortly before Christmas of 2017. He was kind enough to encourage me to run for city council. He took the time to teach me about our city and some of the challenges and opportunities we face. We connected immediately, and I could tell from our very first meeting he was a person of outstanding character, integrity, and a love for public service. John continued to be a source of encouragement during my campaign, and he was with me on the final campaign weekend in April, basically door knocking to try to save our public EMS system. Although I only knew John for a few months, his passion and desire to serve the people of District 5 and the city of Hudson made a big impact on me. So I'm here tonight to explain why I believe that John's wife, Sarah Atkins-Hoggett, should fill the remainder of John's term. While I applaud all the candidates who filed for the seat, and I believe each of them is uniquely qualified to do a good job on the city council, I think appointing Sarah is the right thing to do, and here's my reasons for reaching that conclusion. First and most importantly, this seat belongs to the voters of District 5. I would propose that this is one of those rare instances where we need to look back in time to find clarity instead of looking toward the future. As I see it, the voters of District 5 elected John not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times to represent them on the city council. The decision of whom should carry on this council seat was made already in April of 2017 when voters gave John yet another 2-year term. While the city council has a legal authority to appoint a new alderperson, I don't believe it is right for us to overrule the voters of District 5 with other candidates who may seem to hold perhaps political views closer to our own personal views. The voters of District 5 clearly loved John. They shared his political views. Sarah Atkins-Hoggett's views would seem to be the most similar to John's, so her appointment to completing the last 9 months of his term is the best option we have if we want to respect the voters of District 5. Indeed, at the last meeting, she was the only candidate who spoke strongly for keeping EMS publicly owned, which was a very important priority for John Hoggett. Finally, I've received numerous emails from District 5 constituents in the past 2 weeks who shared their views that they want to see Sarah Atkins-Hoggett appointed to the seat. So again, from the perspective, I think, of respecting the voters of District 5, Sarah seems to be the best choice. Secondly, spouses completing terms of their deceased spouse has been a long tradition in both the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives. Some of us who are old enough and grew up from across the river, we remember Muriel Humphrey, who was appointed after her husband Hubert died. There have been actually 47 women to date who've been elected or appointed to fill the vacancies of Congress created by the death of their spouses. 8 women in the U.S. Senate and 39 in the House who have succeeded their husband. So logically, it seems that this practice is used at the highest levels of government. It should be used at the lower level or the local level. I can honestly say, as I look around this room, at this council table, that if any of you guys passed away, I would have absolutely no hesitation in voting your spouse in. I just think it's the right thing to do, and I think we owe that to John tonight. Third, and since our last meeting, I've talked with Sarah Atkins-Hoggett, and I've asked her to clarify her own interest and commitment to being an alderperson for District 5. I think some of us may have been concerned at the last meeting when she said if appointed by the council, she would reserve the right to decide later as to whether she would seek re-election in April of 2019. After soul searching and prayer, she has decided she wants to be an alderperson, and wants to be a strong advocate for District 5, either by appointment or special election. She has recently launched a Facebook campaign page running for City Council. She's found her passion to stand up for her constituents and continue the policies John worked for, including public safety, urban forestry, recreation, etc. I conclude she's now ready to take on the position. I invite council members who may have hesitations with appointing her to be direct and ask her those questions tonight. So to summarize, I think we should reconsider and readmit, as we've done, Sarah Atkins Hoggett as a candidate for filling the remainder of her husband John's term. The voters of District 5 elected John in April of 2017 to a 2-year term, and we need to respect those views by appointing the person who's closest to John and knows his views best, and that person is Sarah Atkins Hoggett.
Any other comments? Any other comments? I don't know that we're gonna, we're kind of in territory that we don't see too often. So I don't know that we need to be taking public comment, but I guess I would ask is Liz here?
Do we want to get this motion cleared off?
Oh,
or whether we're going to put her back on?
Yes.
That's
So we
right,
need
the
a vote.
motion is, yeah, just
Right
get her
now,
back on.
and then we can
Okay,
move on
yeah.
to the next.
Okay. To put her back on?
Right, that's what the motion would be, to put
Oh,
Sarah,
right.
to have Sarah be
Yeah,
considered again
yeah.
as one of the candidates.
Okay, so the motion then right now is to have Sarah be reinstated as a candidate.
Yep.
Any further discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. All right, so now we go to the balloting,
So next, it's correct. We would go to balloting.
and I would say that all three candidates are here. We've had a chance to have Sarah asked a question on a previous motion, but is there anything that any of the three candidates would like to mention, bring up, say?
Hi, good evening. I'm Mary Claire Olson-Potter. I live at 708 Myrtle Street. My dad was president of the Minneapolis City Council. He taught me many important qualities to serving on the council, including integrity, honesty, fairness, respect, openness to others' opinions and thoughts, and decisions based on information, research, facts, not emotions. I bring these qualities to District 5. I have thought about what I would look for in a candidate if I were sitting in your chairs, and I came up with a couple things. I would consider the following. 1, listen. Would this person listen to the residents and businesses of District 5 and to their fellow alderpersons? I will listen and seek out the thoughts and opinions of the residents and businesses within District 5. I did that as president of the Hudson Chamber for 7 years, and because of my listening to their issues and concerns, we were able to grow the membership 36%. Experience. Have the candidates served the city through boards and commissions so they know how the city runs well and how it functions? I have worked with the city for 17 years, 7 years as the president and 10 years serving on the Plan Commission and the Board of Appeals. Commitment. Have the candidates shown they have the time, energy, and passion to support this position? I have served the city for 17 years and spent time serving on many boards, including the Hudson Community Foundation, Junior Achievement, Community Action when it was here, and doing fundraising for the Phipps Center for the Arts. I am committed to giving this position my skills, experience, time, and energy to fulfill the requirements of this position. Agenda. Do the candidates have a personal agenda, an issue that they want to solely focus on? I do not come with an agenda. I want to represent the views of District 5 and address the issues of the city working all together. There are many issues in front of the city today and issues that will arise that we don't even know about yet. The council needs to work together with creative thinking to resolve these issues. We need to champion the importance of well-maintained streets and parks, safe water, a high degree of public safety, a reliable, fast, skilled EMS service, and an excellent quality of life. I look forward to the opportunity to work with you. Thank you for your consideration, and I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah or Liz, either one of you?
Hi, I'm Liz Melanofi. I live at 1331 3rd Street. I'm in District 5, of course. And I think this process has been so enlightening and kind of educational. And I think what I've come out of it with is, first of all, don't vote for me because there's a better candidate. That's Sarah, to represent the voters of District 5. Secondly, Mary Claire has amazing qualifications, and I think she'd be an awesome council member as well. And I think that's why it would be something to explore, that we may have at-large members that we can elect in our city. Our city is growing. It's very big, much bigger than when I moved here. You guys all have a lot on your plates, like practically too much, I think. And it would be, I think, really smart to explore that option. I know they do that in River Falls and many other smaller towns than Hudson. And that's where you have the opportunity to have somebody, to have these people that are awesome representatives of their district, not vying against each other, but possibly also still being able to serve. And Mary Claire, I think you would be the perfect candidate for that. And I think you'd be a really great mayor, too. So.
Sarah, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? Go to a vote.
Four votes for Sarah, one for Mary Claire.
All right, so we have elected to appoint Sarah Atkins. Sarah, congratulations. Sarah, if you would come forward. Do you have that?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll swear you in, and you can be seated right away. Come on up here.
Sarah, I can come around there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll just run here.
Stand here. Just so you know what you're saying.
Okay.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Sarah Atkins Hoggett,
I, Sarah Atkins Hoggett,
having been appointed as Alderperson District 5 for the City of Hudson,
having been appointed as Alderperson District 5 for the City of Hudson,
affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And I'll have you sign this after. Congratulations. Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you, Rich.
I do not have a full packet for you here, Sarah. But
Okay.
I have the agenda. Consent agenda. And I have an agenda. We'll grab it for you. Mr. General. Okay. If you can share it. Yeah. And then we'll make arrangements to Brian for the iPad and stuff.
Okay.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have the Bird City USA presentation.
Nice job.
Hi, my name is Missy Sparrow. I'm a wildlife biologist at the Wisconsin DNR, and I was asked by the Executive Director of Bird City, Wisconsin, to present City of Hudson with their Bird City designation tonight. And with me is Patty Mueller with Tropical Wings Program. She's the one that actually wrote the application and got everybody accepted. So I got a few things to read, and then we'll present some information to you guys. So it is my honor to recognize the City of Hudson as an official 2018 Bird City, Wisconsin community. A bird city is a community who educates its citizens about birds while implementing sound conservation practices. Bird City was created by a coalition of Wisconsin conservation and birding organizations to ensure that Wisconsin's urban residents maintain healthy populations of birds and grow an appreciation for them. It is modeled after the Arbor Day Foundation's Tree City USA, of which Hudson is also a member. Communities that come together to complete education and conservation projects that help protect birds receive this public recognition as a Bird City, Wisconsin. Hudson is one of over 100 Wisconsin communities to be designated Bird City, Wisconsin. Bird City, Wisconsin provides public recognition to municipalities that work to make healthy communities for both birds and people. Birds are an important part of the community. Hudson is a wonderful place to see a wide variety of birds, from the bald eagles over Prospect Park to trumpeter swans in the winter on the St. Croix River. Warblers migrate through Hudson each spring and fall and can be seen in many places, including along Lakefront Park walking trail and at the Willow River State Park along the Trout Brook Trail. Birds teach us about the interconnectedness of humans and nature and show how vulnerable wildlife can be to human actions. Wildlife habitat offers aesthetic, social, economic, and environmental benefits. By building community spirit and fostering partnerships, becoming a bird city can make Hudson a nicer place to live. Several criteria must be met in order to qualify as a bird city. One of those is recognizing International Migratory Bird Day. The city of Hudson has proclaimed the second Saturday of May as International Migratory Bird Day. Tropical Wings, the local conservation group, has an annual bird migration celebration that coincides with the International Migratory Bird Day. Local activism is at the heart of effective conservation, and that's what International Migratory Bird Day is all about. The celebrations are to highlight the migration journey of nearly 350 species of birds while encouraging people to get outdoors, learn about birds, and enjoy nature. Hudson is a great place to do that. Congratulations. And then today we have a nice plaque that we're presenting to you guys. We've got a flag, a couple signs that can be hung up wherever you choose in the city. And then there's also a donation to the library, a really nice
And actually, the library director is here this evening.
Yes, we've already chatted with her.
Okay.
Could you come up wherever you are so we can see the official? This is a book originally published in 1963. It's a pretty famous book, and I'm sure the community will enjoy checking that out and learning more about birds of Wisconsin. Thank you very much. So, and then I'll leave a couple things in the back and share this with you folks. It's just the information, further information on Bird City, Wisconsin, and so you can grab one of those. And again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And one more thing that we have done in conjunction with Bird City is we funded some money for buckthorn eradication, which is an important part of the bird migration through the St. Croix Valley. And if people would like to or haven't done it yet, we have a bunch of goats up in Prospect Park, right up on top of the hill, that are eating buckthorn like crazy. So it's great fun. It's been a lot of people up there. Every time I go up there, there's families walking around. So not only are they enjoying the goats, but they're enjoying our park. So it's been a great project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. What? Okay. Thank you. Yep. Okay, thanks.
So thank you very much. I know that there were a number of people involved in getting this done. I saw Buck Malik here, and he, I know for sure, was very responsible and all that. Thank you, Buck, for all that you did to bring that here. You don't have to turn your back on us all, Buck. Thank you. All right, comments and suggestions from citizens. Is there anyone here who has a comment? Anyone who would like to step forward, please? I think you know the drill.
Carla Myers, 1098 Golden Oaks Lane in Hudson. I was here a couple weeks ago, and I was explaining how the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, could be liable for defamation and possibly the groups that associate with them. And I highlighted the recent litigation and award of $100,000 to an Alabama Supreme Court justice against the SPLC. And there is, on YouTube, there's a series on, it's called Instant Karma, Instant Justice. And it's where the bad guy gets his due on this earth. And today, there is a new article out that says, the SPLC apologizes, pays settlement to Islamic reformer it wrongly labeled anti-Muslim extremist. The Southern Poverty Law Center has reached a settlement with liberal Islamic reformer Majid Nawaz and his organization, the Quilliam Foundation, for wrongly including them on its now defunct list of anti-Muslim extremists. The SPLC announced Monday that it has agreed to pay Nawaz and Quilliam $3.375 million to fund their work to fight anti-Muslim bigotry and extremism. The settlement was the result of a lawsuit Nawaz filed in April over his inclusion on the SPLC's Field Guide to Anti-Muslim Extremists. The list, which was published in 2016 and was intended to serve as a resource for journalists, was deleted shortly after Nawaz filed the suit. The deletion came roughly 2 years after Nawaz first demanded a retraction. The SPLC was wrong to include Majid Nawaz and the Quilliam Foundation in our Field Guide to Anti-Muslim Extremists. Since we published the Field Guide, we have taken the time to do more research and have consulted with human rights advocates we respect. SPLC President Richard Cohen said in a statement, "We found that Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam have made valuable and important contributions to public discourse, including by promoting pluralism and condemning both anti-Muslim bigotry and Islamist extremism. Although we may have our differences with some of the positions that Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam have taken, they are most certainly not anti-Muslim extremists. We would like to extend our sincerest apologies to Mr. Nawaz, Quilliam, and our readers for the error, and we wish Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam all the best." The list promoted backlash from free speech advocates and the creation of a petition on Change.org, which drew thousands of signatures. It accused Nawaz, a liberal Muslim and former Islamic extremist, of savaging Islam, and similarly branded Ayin Hirsi Ali, a Somali and Muslim-born critic of the religion, as an extremist for advocating the abolition of cultural practices like female genital mutilation, which she herself was subjected to in childhood. It's a shame that it took impending litigation for the Southern Poverty Law Center to finally set the record straight and admit it was wrong all along. Quilliam and Mr. Nawaz do admirable work, and we are honored to have restored their reputations and achieved this victory on their behalf. So in closing, I would just caution anyone that they affiliate with the SPLC and brand any organization or individuals as hate groups. There could be litigious consequences to that. And obviously, there have been already. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other comments?
My name is Greg Sarno. I live at 1412 Laurel Avenue here in Hudson. I promised my wife I wasn't going to say anything tonight at the meeting, so Nance, please forgive me. I don't know Ms. Malanafi. She's still here. So this is not directed at her personally. But what she said about an at-large candidate scares the heck out of me. It can go in many different directions, and I'll make this very brief. The idea of Hudson having 5 alderpeople, persons, from the city but not individual districts, and that's what I believe I heard when she said at-large candidates. It would be nice to have somebody serving, or 5 people serving who are not in specific districts. That idea is terrible. Each district has its own backgrounds, has its own flavor, has its own major concerns. So I just wanted to get on the record, an at-large candidate for a city council position is a terrible idea. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sure.
What I meant by that is we have our districts represented, and then in addition to that, we have maybe 2 at-large candidates who might see a big picture like Mary Claire does, or, you know, a different kind of overlook representing the city. But the district representatives really need to know their district and their constituents. So hope that clarifies for you, Greg.
Any other comments?
Same guy, Greg Sarno, same address. Liz, thank you for clarifying that, but I still want to go on record as saying that's a bad idea. 5 district and 5 district representatives serves Hudson just fine. Thank you.
6. Any other comments? Any other comments? Any other comments? Close that portion of the agenda. Discussion and possible action on consent agenda items.
Approve the regular meeting minutes of June 4th, 2018. Approve claims in the amount of $883,630.20. Detailed information is available in the Finance Director's office. Contingent upon payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city and successful completion of background checks, approve the issuances of 8 regular operators licenses for the period of June 19th, 2018 to June 30th, 2020, and 4 temporary operators licenses. Detailed information is available in the clerk's office. Approve the Helping Hands through HIBA event at Lakefront Park on Saturday, September 29th, 2018. Award the base bid and alternate bid 1 for the 2018 storm sewer repairs to Zappa Brothers, Inc. in the amount of $138,694, and to include alternate bid 2 contingent upon approval of the utilization of storm water utility cash reserves in the amount of $7,790, which the Finance Committee recommended. Award the base bid and alternate bid 1 for the 2018 street maintenance project to Farner Asphalt in the amount of $124,359. Approve final development plans for MPSC World Headquarters at 2701 Harvey Street, MPSC Inc., with the conditions as set forth on the issue sheet. Approve the conditional use permit application for a drive-in business at 2211 Badger Drive, Hudson Chicken, LLC, with the conditions as set forth on the issue sheet. Approve the final development plans for Popeye's Restaurant at 2211 Badger Drive, Hudson Chicken, LLC, with the conditions as set forth on the issue sheet. Approve the certificate of compliance and certificate design review for DD's Ice Cream at 403 Vine Street, with the conditions as set forth on the issue sheet. Approve the letter of support for the Hudson Dog Park Organization to be included in the Bark for Your Park grant program. Approve utilization of the approved and budgeted miscellaneous parks capital funds for the purchase of a water fountain at Lakefront Park. Approve the request of an agent change to Jennifer Gutting at Apple, Minnesota, LLC, doing business as Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar for the license year ending June 30th, 2019, contingent on payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city and surrender of the current liquor license. So that should be 19, not 18, as was listed. Approve the taxi cab license for Magina SMV Transport and Taxi Service for the 2 vehicles listed on their application, contingent upon receipt of the required certificate of insurance and payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city. Approve the plans and specifications for the Hagan Street Trail improvements and authorize advertisement for bids, and to place on file the Public Utility Commission meeting minutes of June 12, 2018. That is all.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and second to approve. Any discussion? I guess that doesn't matter, does it? Roll call?
Morissette?
Yes.
Alms?
Yes.
Bazile?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes, and you forgot something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sarah?
Yes.
All right, motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on request for a timely extension for the liquor license renewal for the River Valley Hospitality Center.
Good evening, Doug Rohde, LHR Hospitality. I just wanted to thank the council for your unbelievable patience throughout the process of several extensions on the liquor license. I am here tonight to not ask for another extension. We have tried feverishly and have worked really hard to try to get a deal done. with the seller, and it just has not come together, not because of a lack of effort. But unfortunately, that's just how things happen at certain points here in time. We are thrilled to be doing another project in Hudson currently up on the hill, and I just wanted to come and personally thank you all for your patience on this, and just to let you know that we look very forward to doing more business and more projects in the city of Hudson.
So,
I know there's a need for liquor licenses, and I think it would be unfair to hold this up any longer. So
will you be surrendering the license?
we will
then?
be surrendering.
So if you could forward an email to me or a letter to me stating that, so that
Yep.
we have that on file, and then
Yep.
And then bring it in.
bring it in, right?
Oh, no, it was
he-
never issued.
Right, it was not issued for the 2018, 2019 cycle. They were not issued the license because we were waiting on this. So as soon as he indicates it's surrendered to us, then we will advertise it per our ordinance, like we've done in the past, and then we'll bring the applications in as we've done in the past. So if you could get that to me in the next few days, that'd be great, Doug.
Sure.
Thank you.
Be happy to. Thanks.
Thanks, Doug. Discussion and possible action on annexation agreement between the City of Hudson and Lee Family Trust Parcel 040-1025-70-0000 and 040-1026-30-000.
thank you. I think by now we're all familiar with the proposed annexation of the Lee property, which is located just west of the dog track property, immediately south of Mayor Road and north of the YMCA camp. The annexation agreement as proposed, basically what it does is it outlines a number of the items that would have to be provided for upon annexation. Some of the high points on that include payment of the existing deferred assessment. The property was issued a deferred assessment of with interest of approximately $125,500 for water, sewer, and storm improvements as part of the Industrial Street reconstruct project that took place from Hanley Road to Mayor. Also included is a provision that basically, or it states that half of the property, the westerly half of the property, is included within the St. Croix River National Wild and Scenic Riverway and Shoreline Protection Overlay District. It includes a provision that if the property is annexed, it would come in under the same or closest designation for zoning, which would be agricultural reserve, which is the same in the town of Troy currently. It would include dedication of Mayor Road and Carmichael Road right-of-way, payment of all, any and all outstanding city review and professional fees that we've incurred thus far. Most of those are already covered underneath our pre-annexation agreement. Also, the acknowledgement, and this is probably the most substantive one, which is the acknowledgement and payment of potential land development costs. Included in your packets is the capital cost study that was prepared by the city's consulting engineer, SCH, which breaks down off-site improvements that would be incorporated with if the development was approved. Obviously, tonight is a discussion about whether or not the city is going to annex the property. But if it were to annex and they were to end up getting approval to construct what was shown in their concepts, what that would mean in terms of off-site improvements that we'd have to include. That includes a complete reconstruction of Mayor Road, trail extensions that would connect to a future trail extension headed north on Industrial Street. It would also provide for oversizing of sanitary sewer, and also, I believe, improvements as to the overall collection system. So that's it in a nutshell. Also in your packets you have a budget analysis that goes through, again, it's not an exact science, it's an approximation. MSA helped us work through that. If the annexation were approved and then they were able to get through all of the other entitlement processes, what the city could estimate in terms of net tax revenue off the property. upon full build out, and that was approximately, I think, $150 some odd thousand annually. Other than that, this agreement for the annexation agreement would run with the land. Both the Lee family's representative is here, legal, as well as the potential developer, so Land DevCo. So with that, I know there's people here that probably have questions, comments, concerns. I'll also entertain any questions that the council may have.
Mike, just to clarify, can you tell, once again, this is only, and tell us how long this property has been under the eye of annexation, and tell us what exactly we are doing tonight, regardless of what was presented as far as development.
Okay. At least 10 to 15 years, I would say, about that point. As recently as, I think, 2014 was the last draft annexation agreement. Tonight, you would be considering just, is this property going to be in the city of Hudson? Okay. They still have to, or a developer, whether it be Land DevCo or whomever, would have to go through a process through rezoning if they need it. Well, they're going to have to, because it comes in as ag reserve. So there'd be a rezoning piece at a minimum. There would be, in this case, if they wanted to do what they've shown, there's going to be a comp plan amendment that would have to take place, because the front third of the property is shown as general commercial, and that proposal includes high density residential in the front. And but again, there's a lot of platting, all those approvals, CUPs for development in the Riverway for cluster development. So, but again, all of those things have an impact on the budget study and the capital cost study. So less intensity obviously would mean a different thing in terms of what we would need the developer to provide. More intensity likewise would require more approvals. So tonight you're just asked to whether or not you want to annex a property into the city.
Well, and in addition, it will need direction to create an ordinance and finalize the annexation agreement, which will come back.
That would be the next one, yep.
Right, I just want to make it very clear that we are not supporting the development project, but the annexation itself, if that's what council so chooses.
Anybody else?
Mike, this is perhaps going to be a history lesson for some of us, but as it moves into the shoreline, we have a different shoreline protection caveat than the town of Troy did. And I live in the town of Troy and had a lot of experience or background or agony associated with the bluff lines. How is it going to be different when it comes into our purview?
It would not change. So the boundaries are as they existed when NR 118 was established. So the rest of the city of Hudson is considered a small town in NR 118, or a river town. I don't know if I'm getting the language correct here, but there's two different, it stays under its classification in the town of Troy. We can't change the boundaries of it and say, okay, now you're in the city, so you get to come and be a small town or a river town. I can't remember. I think it's river town.
So basically the same kinds of restrictions are going to apply. Is that correct? Or
correct.
Similar?
As it pertains to NR 118, yep.
Okay. Good.
Is this the first step, no matter who the developer?
Unless the town of Troy were to develop it, correct.
Right. Okay.
Anybody else? So,
Do we want to hear from audience members on this, or?
is there a motion?
I'll move we accept the annexation.
I'll second that.
You approve the annexation agreement? That's the first step.
Yes.
No,
Whatever Catherine's going to tell us to do.
we're going to bring it back to the, well, as it is right now. But we'll bring it back with the ordinance and
There's
the
two
ordinance.
separate agenda items.
There's two, yep. So the first one is the annexation agreement and the second one is the ordinance.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So Randy, your motion was for the annexation.
Yes.
And then
the second step.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would like to hear if there are people
Okay. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Doug?
Thanks. My name's Doug Rowan. I live at 295 Riverview Drive and am a direct neighbor of this property on the river end. Number one, I appreciate the confirmation that the riverway part of the parcel will remain as rural residential. Changing that would not only change the character of the neighborhood and the property, but also impact the St. Croix Riverway in, I believe, a negative way. The other concerns I have is that the site plans, while I know they're not final and not approved, that have been presented to the council so far, violate both current easements that other landowners have, as well as seem to be inconsistent with NR 118 in the Riverway section. So that's a concern I have that hopefully can get resolved in future site plans as those are considered and approved, so that we maintain that character. There are also a number of comments made by some of my other neighbors at the Plan Commission meeting that had significant concerns about traffic. Adding that many residences to this parcel, at least similar to the numbers that are defined, will dramatically increase the traffic not only on Riverview Drive, but also River Ridge, Aspen, the Carmichael intersection, and the Carmichael intersection is already a bit of a challenge with Mayor Road. So I think it's important that as the final capital plan gets put together, the upgrades to all those to make them safe. There's a lot of walking traffic, dogs, strollers, bikes, especially on River Ridge as they're going down to Anderson Park. We need to make sure that those streets are safe in the context of all the new traffic that's going to be coming into the area from the development. So those are some of the main concerns. The other concern that I've heard expressed both by the YMCA camp and other members is security. Right now there's a big 40-plus acre buffer between most of the residences and the YMCA camp that at the Plan Commission meeting they said they have over 400 kids a day going through there, and making sure that there's enough of a buffer barrier between whatever that new development is, the other residences, and in particular the YMCA camp, so that they can maintain security and avoid any liability issues of people sort of wandering off of their property and onto the other properties in the area. So those are some of the big concerns that were expressed at the Plan Commission meeting, and I think even at this meeting in the past. Just wanted to reiterate those as this process moves forward. The other thing I noticed is there seems to be a discrepancy on the size of the property in the agreement between the 42.24 acres and I think it was 40.24 acres in the development agreement. I don't know if that's to take into account possession lines versus survey lines, or I don't know where that discrepancy comes from, or if it's just an error, but maybe it's something that if it's possession lines, there are some fences in place that could set up possession lines that have been there for many decades that could be different from the survey lines. And you might want to consider that or resolving that before deciding to annex the property, so you know what property you're actually annexing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other comments here? Well.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Amy Rastetter. I live at 1408 Wheatgrass Street. My property butts directly up to Mayor Road, so the property that you guys are talking about annexing is right across Mayor from me. At the meeting a couple weeks ago, I think a lot of good points were made, and I just want to support some of what the previous gentleman said, but it's hard because while we all understand progress has to happen within a small town like this, thinking of all of these homes being built in this field is really difficult for us, and understanding that how much that's going to impact a lot of what we have as a really, really nice place to live. So, and another question that I had, should annexation happen, should building plans go through and things like that, is how are our taxes going to be directly affected for those of us living in that area that are impacted, whether it be Mayor Road, whether it be Aspen, whether it be River Ridge, anything like that. That's a big concern that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion of possible action on petition for direct annexation by unanimous approval from the town of Troy to the city of Hudson by the Lee Family Trust for parcels 040-1025-70-000 and 040-1026-30-000.
Same project, obviously. In this case, we're looking for direction for staff and the city attorney to draft the ordinance and bring it back for consideration at the July 9 meeting.
Okay.
So Catherine, this is the motion you were asking?
Yeah, to direct, if you want to direct.
So moved.
Annexation ordinance to be.
We have a motion and a second.
So we're accepting the petition and directing.
That an annexation ordinance be drafted for consideration at the next meeting.
Okay. We'll need signatures from all the owners and then the developers too.
Okay. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on Resolution 08-18, 2017 CMAR report.
Good evening, everybody. Every year, Wisconsin Administrative Code requires us to do a CMAR, which is a compliance maintenance annual report. It's basically a report card of your wastewater system and of the functions, the dailies, effluents, things like that that happen down at the wastewater treatment plant. To make it easy for you, I believe it's page 188 in your packet, so you don't have to scroll through the whole thing. Page 188, if I looked at it correctly, should be a grading summary. So if you're there, basically the City of Hudson received an A on everything, so we did receive a 4.0 grade point average. Everything from your influent to your sampling of ammonias, phosphorus, your biosolids, your staffing, your collection. I do apologize, financial did not show up on there, but that did receive an A. It just did not transfer over for some reason in your packets. So, so basically the wastewater treatment plant down there did receive an A, so we bring that forward to you guys for that resolution. And I would just like to mention the staff that's down there that works every day in a very unpleasant at times environment. To clean that wastewater up, so when it is actually sent to the St. Croix River, it's clean. It's everything that can be needed. So Joe Boudry, Joe Intihar, James Naparella, and Wendy Crusoe are your staff down at the wastewater treatment plant that just do an excellent job for you. So
nice job, Kip. When was the last time we got a 4.0?
We've had 4.0 for almost ever.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're maintaining. So that's it.
Excellent.
Job.
Thank you.
Nice job, Kip. Thanks.
So we'll move to suspend the rules.
Second. The motion and second to suspend the rules. Roll call.
Morissette.
Yes.
Alms.
Yes.
Bazile.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Atkins Hoggett.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Rules are suspended.
Move to adopt resolution 8-18.
Second.
Got a motion and second to approve. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on Phase 2 window replacement project for City Hall.
Good evening. This is the second year in a row we've budgeted $80,000 for window replacement. This year we're choosing to replace the windows in the basement, 3 exterior doors, some exterior concrete work, and I'm looking to your direction as to awarding the contract to Braden Construction for the base bid, the window replacement, as well as the alternate number 2. That would be some sidewalk improvements that would entail removing a portion of the retaining wall on the north side of the building. Their base bid and alternate number 2 came to the amount of $74,095.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve. Any discussion?
How close are the alternate bids? Again, you put alternate 1 together for next year, just in terms of estimating?
Yes, yep. The goal for putting out alternate number 1 was to solidify our budget for next year.
You don't foresee that going up drastically within the next year?
You know, my guess is we probably want to, worst case scenario, expect about a 10% bump in that price.
So that would be considered as part of the 2019-2020 capital projects,
right,
that you'll be discussing over the winter.
No steel in the materials, is there?
David, can you talk about it's aluminum, the jams or the...
Correct. We're specifying a Marvin window as an aluminum extrusion on the outside of the window. It'd be a lot more durable than the windows we currently have. Should have a longevity much greater.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have a sense of how many years that those might last?
Yeah, I don't want to say for certain, but I believe they carry a 20-year warranty. The windows we have currently were installed in 1993. So I would expect much better than 20 years of the windows.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I have a question about the the windows that are going to be bricked in. I didn't have a chance to review this ahead of time, so how many are being bricked in?
There's 7 windows in total. 4 of them would be the lower level windows out front here that are already blocked by the landscaping.
Okay.
There'll be another one on the south side, and then 2 more on the north side. And each of those 7 windows, they don't function as windows. They're currently blacked out, so you can't see in or out. A lot of them are actually they have insulation over them, so they function a little better. So the city staff was recommending the bricking just for longevity, durability.
Just less energy loss.
Less energy loss.
Right. It's always a shame to see that, because if it doesn't match exact, and you can always tell it's there, it's too bad. But having not been able to read ahead of time, I can't really comment any further than that. But yeah.
So I understand.
How much of the concrete wall are you going to be removing?
It's the last 5 feet of the
Just
wall.
the last 5 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Do you want to talk about the sidewalk and the little wall piece out here? I don't know if everyone is aware.
Yeah, the reason we're removing a portion of the retaining wall is the sidewalk. For whatever reason, when the addition went on, they built out the retaining wall, and the sidewalk. If you ever notice it, like dead ends into the retaining wall. A person trying to walk to 2nd Street crossing, they would have to go out in the parking lot and then back onto the sidewalk, which isn't a problem unless somebody's parked in that parking space. A lot of times they move right up to the retaining wall. In a worst case scenario, they'd have to meander out around the car and then back to the sidewalk again. So this would eliminate the need to go into the parking lot to access the stairwell down to the alley.
Are you going to be putting in a drain in the area where you're removing the wall in order to divert the runoff from the hill?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. There is an existing catch basin right there. We've checked the sidewalk. Everything will slope to that catch basin. We won't increase any water problems.
Where is the catch basin?
It's in the parking lot, just out from the generator.
Okay, so it's the one that's, let's see, now I gotta get my directions. West of the wall? Is that what you're?
West of the wall, yep.
Okay, but then, all right, if you remove 5 feet of the wall, then you're going to have all of the stuff coming from the slope over here down and going across the sidewalk. How are you going to prevent it from going across the sidewalk to get to that catch basin?
Well, it will have to go across the sidewalk, but it's sloped in such a way that none of that water is going to find its way towards the building.
Okay. I've got concerns about that during the winter. With it freezing.
It'll have to be maintained like the rest of the sidewalks.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Discussion of possible action on library's request for reservation of parking spaces in the library parking lot for an event on July 1st, 2018.
Tina will be coming forward to discuss the event. I think you all should have received an email from Jeff Willems explaining that they didn't have any concerns about the one-time event. So, but Tina
Good
can explain
evening.
what's going on.
Welcome, Tina.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. Yes, Chief Willems should have sent everyone an email. He offered graciously to allow us to use the 5 police parking spots for that evening event on July 1st, which is for the Library Foundation donors for the annual campaign that they do each year. This is our 2nd annual appreciation event. He agreed to let us use those spaces, and we have 3 additional spaces that were secured this evening. Sarah has graciously offered 3 additional, so we have all the spaces that we need. So we don't need to reserve any additional. And did everyone get that email?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, good. That's it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I don't even know that.
So no action is required?
I don't know that it is because I think it's all been resolved now. So.
Right. All right. Thanks for making that painless. Item D has been pulled.
Actually, I want to move to push that back at the request of the Art wants to go back to Public Safety.
Public Safety Committee, okay.
So I'll move that we send it back to Public Safety.
Sounds good.
Second.
Got a motion second to refer this back to Public Safety. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. I don't have anything, I don't think. Devin?
I just want to remind everybody that July, we're on the 9th and the 23rd. We took it out for the week of the 4th. Sir, I will send you the full schedule so you have that. So next month will be the 9th and the 23rd.
Okay. Anybody else? Kathy? Anybody?
I guess.
All right. Everybody have a...
I almost missed that. Reiterate my request that we get Public Works fully up to speed
It's on the
as
next
soon as possible.
next agenda. We already have it.
Okay.
So now that we have a full complement. And everybody have a happy and safe 4th of July.
Amen.
Is there a motion?
Move.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.